Hello, Robert. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, today we're going to talk about picking, and I'm going to give you some Paul's eye view close-ups of my picking technique with some ideas of how to make it easier for you and for everybody. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the exercise that I did this morning to help get my hand in shape for some picking. It's super easy, except that it will I shouldn't say it will wear out, it will build up your muscles. And so let's focus on my right hand. And here's what I did. I did a shuffle. I went like 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's all upstrokes. Everything I did was an up. I went up, 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 up. And I also did do some muting. And you mentioned having a hard time muting on the bridge, but I think it's really important for picking to be able to mute as well. So if you have to do something as radical as get a guitar with a taller bridge, like a Les Paul or something, I'd go shopping. Or just try to angle the guitar on your body a little differently so it feels taller. But anyway, we want to be able to mute with this part of our hand, right where the string comes off the saddle. And do all ups. And we want to do that in time, so that way you just keep a consistent rhythm, like 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 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 up. And you can do it on each string. All right, so I've been excited about that exercise. I've been doing it a lot lately. I've shown it to some other people as well. So I want to show you some new things that I've discovered today. And let's get right into it. So we're going to focus on my hand again. And what I'd like to show you is how this part of my hand changes when I'm really emphasizing upstrokes, or if I'm emphasizing downstrokes. When I emphasize downstrokes, this part of the hand goes closer to the fretboard. Like if I'm going or that sort of thing, this is much closer than if I'm doing upstrokes. Now it may not look like a huge difference, but I think for the spaces we've got in picking, I think that's a pretty significant difference. That little twist of really the whole. I'm not sure where exactly it's happening, but you can see, and you'll feel it when if you do all. You can try the same thing with all downstrokes, like. And you'll see that it shifts your whole hand towards, like, in this direction. Now, it probably won't do it that much, but it'll definitely do it somewhat. And then if we go back to the upstrokes, it's going to be. Look how much room is under there now. Now I'm also on the higher string. Let's see what happens. Yeah, still is really different. There's just that little shift there, and I think that makes a big difference. So be aware that the upstrokes will change the sort of the placement of your wrist in relation to the guitar body. And I think that being comfortable with that upstroke position is important, I think. So when I'm doing a really fast lick, something like this. This is an F sharp minor, by the way. So you played some Crazy Train, so I wanted to. Now, of course, that lick has both ups and downs, but the upstroke is the emphasized note. It's louder than the other ones. So even though there's an equal number of ups and downs, I really feel that I'm more in the upstroke position for this because I'm doing that one louder and with more force. Now, you mentioned again that you didn't want to mute, and this, I don't know if it's even possible if I could do it with a clean sound, but if I started to get distortion, I can still sort of do it, but it's just not as tight. And to me, picking is all about tone, because you could play this even without a pick. You know, you can get the speed from the left hand. So it's really the right hand is just adding a certain kind of tone. So we want it to be the best tone possible for what we're doing. And I think in this case, that muted tone is really what people are usually looking for with a picked sound. So again, as you try any of these licks, keep an eye on the distance here. And certainly there's some licks that are more based on downstrokes where I do turn my hand more. But sometimes I see players who are this way all the time, and I think it limits what you're able to do with the pick. All right, so besides that, I just want to, part two, get ready, take a breath, relax for a second. Here comes part two, is the idea that you don't have to pick everything. In fact, a lot of times, I think, and actually you weren't. When you did the Randy Rhoads solo, you were playing it like Randy. There's a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and I really like that stuff. I think it's nice to have a variety. Some stuff is picked, some stuff isn't, and it really lets your guitar playing breathe. To me, a lot of times when I pick, I have to tighten up and I have to be careful, and it's rock and roll. I don't want to tighten up and be careful. I want to loosen up and be carefree. So to me, on my list of priorities, my own personal list, picking's kind of lower on the list as opposed to you just being comfortable with getting a lot of notes with hammer-ons and pull-offs. I think often those sound nicer. So if this takes a while, it did for me. Picking took me a long time. It was not one of the first techniques I worked on. One of the last things I got, and I was excited when I got it just because I didn't think I'd ever be able to do it. I'd given up. I was like, oh well. And finally, the lick that I showed you, and you've probably seen this one. If you haven't seen it, go to the video exchange, or actually, a lot of video exchanges called the picking lick, or just in the course, there's a lesson called that, and you'll see the details of that lick. But I think this will really show you some of the hand position stuff. It's really important to be able to mute, or at least keep your hand in that position, I think, and for the right tone. And again, a tone is our goal. Otherwise, we don't even need to pick, because your left hand can make it happen, and can actually get pretty nice tone that way too. It's just a different tone. All right, so thanks again for coming back. I'm glad that your break for guitar has ended and you've got the passion once again. Rock and roll.